When I turned 50, she said, the 50s are everything you've been meaning to be. The 50s are everything you've been meaning to be and everything you meant to be. It's all the I was gonna, I meant to, I'm supposed to. That you get all that done in the 50s. And then the 60s are settling in and coming home to yourself.
Hey, welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Shareece, and today I'm going to be sharing 7 things that I've learned by the age of 35. I'm 35 now, that most women don't learn until they're around 55, 60, 65. Now, just a disclaimer, there is no race in life, and some people go through their entire life never having learned the lessons that they were put on earth to learn, but I think they'll get it in the next life cycle. Some people get it in their early 20s when I'm working with clients who are figuring it out in their early 20s, 21, 22, 25. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so impressive, because most women your age don't get it until after they've had adult kids, until after they had the divorce. So I would say this is not to compare, but this is to inspire, because we're all on our own path. I think some people are just a little bit further on the spiritual journey than others. And so it's just a beautiful thing for me to be able to share my experience. Number 1 on my list, I am enough. I remember working with my healer, so my second therapist, who was working me through thriving, right? I did a lot of early trauma work with another therapist, and I was just figuring out, like, how do I get more out of life? Like, I'm glad I don't feel hurt and pain and sadness anymore, but like, how do I get more out of life? And it was through that journey, I would say about 26 to 30, where I just solid in the oh my gosh, I'm enough. Like, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to say things in the right way. Like, I don't have to have people like me. I can just be myself and be worthy just for existing. That's one of those life lessons I think everyone on earth has to contend with. Either you had really great parents who helped encourage you to feel like enough, and you only have like small moments of not feeling good enough, or you experience a traumatic event, or you have a parent who might be abusive, like was in my case, verbally abusive, and you just get often the feeling of, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, I don't know if I'm enough. And, doing some of the self-reflection work, very happy to feel, to know I am enough. Number 2 on my list, I can do whatever I want. And I've thought about doing a video about how getting pregnant at 17 changed my life, like for the better, like just helped me in so many ways. Because up until that point, I was definitely like a goody two shoes. I'm the good Christian, like I do all the right things. Getting pregnant after having sex for the first time, right? I got pregnant within 2 months of having sex for the first time. What else can you do? Good Christian girl, okay? I'm from the Caribbean. Good up Christian girl, get pregnant. Oh my goodness. And I was still loved and taken care of and supported in like so many ways that I am so grateful for. But that was one of the first experiences of, wait a second, who am I living this life for? Like, I could do whatever I want. I could do whatever I want. As I've gotten older and now I have more money, which I'll talk about later, it feels even more like no matter what is going on in this world, like we're living in a crazy election cycle, there's wars, prominent wars happening across the world. I can do whatever I want, like whatever I can dream, because law of manifestation and me are like buddy, twin, okay? I love my life. And I love the feeling of I could do whatever I want. Like whatever dream I have, it might take me a long time to get it, right? Like becoming a psychologist is not you do it for 1 year and you're a psychologist, but like living my dream life, like thank you God so much that I can do whatever I want. That mentality has helped shape so much of like the things that I thought I wouldn't do until I was much older, like going to Thailand. Like now I'm just making everything up as I go, because I can just do it. It's like, what do I want to do today? What do I want to do? What do I want to do at the end of the year? Like whatever I want to do, I could do. So I just dream up all sorts of things to do. Number 3, no one is more important than me taking care of my needs. And I'm trying to think, I feel like watching, right? I came into this world an observer. And so paying attention to moms, because it was very, very important for me to be a mother and to be a great mother. Reading all the books on psychology, reading all the books on child development, like really understanding like what do moms need, that helped. And then getting support from my son's father's family, from my family, from my mother especially, somehow felt like, I don't know, I never had this idea that everything has to go to my son. I never had that belief that I have to sacrifice everything in order to be a good mom. Like, I didn't get that messaging. One of my sisters says she did get that messaging, and that's why she hasn't had kids yet. But I'm like, I don't know. I figured out that's not what's most helpful for raising the happiest kids. And so when I made the decision to leave my island to pursue my education and to leave my son with my mother, partly is cultural to do that, like culturally acceptable to do that, but also me bettering myself helps improve my son. So when people used to ask me, like, how do you date when you have, a kid? Like, don't you feel like bad leaving him alone? Girl, no. Don't you feel bad for sending him home for the summer? No. Why would I feel bad? Like, why would I feel bad going on solo vacation without my son? He could come if he wants to another vacation, but I like doing things with myself too. Like, I really enjoy my company. So taking care of myself, prioritizing myself is something, when it comes to my son, has never really been that difficult for me. When it's come to relationships, it's definitely been a challenge because I felt like, oh my gosh, I have to please this man. I have to do what he wants. But I mean, early 28 is your Saturn return, and turning 28 was a bigger deal to me than 30. That's when I ended my toxic abusive relationship. When I was 30, I was still like mourning it, but it was around that time when I was just like, this man gonna be the death of me. This man is gonna drive me crazy. Like, I cannot keep doing this to myself. Like, I need to move differently. And so that prioritizing yourself around the time when I read Women Who Love Too Much for the first time, because I was so scared of getting into another abusive relationship, I said, I know I need to do something differently. Like, I got into therapy. Yeah, I went to therapy. I've talked about my feelings a lot, but there's something I was still missing. And a big part of that was the community aspect of women who also had similar experiences. And so I could see myself outside of myself just in a different way, and different women along the journey that made it more realistic that I could prioritize myself. I can be separate from another human being. I do not have to do everything that they want. I do not have to worry about trying to please them. I can just be in this relationship and be happy. That's been such a journey for me to find that balance between, I want to make you happy, but I don't want to be sucking up to you or seeking validation from you for my existence, which is something I had done in my early 20s. Number 4 is it's okay to tell people no. And a series of events that led me to realizing I don't have to do what you want. It's okay to disappoint you. Getting pregnant at 17 was one of those things. So specifically with my mother, not having to do what she views as right in order for me to feel secure in myself. Another thing was, I remember, becoming a psychologist has just been my life dream, right? I just so happy I'm a psychologist. But in the process of becoming a psychologist, I loved being a student and I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to be great. Like, I just really, really wanted to have the cultural competency and the skill level to be able to actually help people. So I would just be saying yes to everything. If this was my field of expertise, the area I want to specialize in, if this supervisor who I think is very bright and smart and intelligent and can teach me all these things, I was just saying yes to everything. And I think it wasn't until like my internship year when I was like, I don't have to do all of this. In fact, I'm working every weekend. I'm not really getting paid much as an intern. Somebody else, one of my other intern mates said that she started blocking off her calendar, and somehow that had never occurred to me. I could just say, no, I don't want to do it. What? Going through a doctoral program, a rigorous graduate school program, medical school, like those kind of things will also change you as a person, make you more hardy and resilient. If you really are up to the challenge and you make your way out, can really push you to be a better person. And so that was one of the realizations there. And then after that, even with my postdoc, I interacted with that position, the pay of it, the training of it in a different way than I had ever approached any of my other training experiences. I set boundaries in ways that I had never thought of setting boundaries, right? But most of my focus has been on setting boundaries in romantic relationships, but realizing, girl, boundaries exist in all these relationships, in friendships, with work, co-workers, with your supervisor. And so at that point, I realized that it was okay. It was okay. I viewed it as acceptable to tell people, no, oh, that doesn't work for me. Or as my youngest sister would like to say, get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. No, I'm not available. So When I quit my last job, I just quit jobs all the time. One of the jobs I really enjoyed, but it was becoming not worth the pay. You know, when the CEO would ask me to do things, I'd be like, no, that doesn't work for me. And it was easy. That's when I know I'd like mastered, this is like 2 years ago, mastered the art of saying no, because he was, you know, he was the CEO, and he, you know, you think you're supposed to please people. These are old, younger thoughts. It's difficult to tell people no because you're like, oh, I don't want them to think I'm this or that. Girl, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. I don't care. I'm doing what's best for me and what's going to help me sleep better at night. Next up is I can have the man of my dreams, in parentheses, I deserve to be loved well. I deserve to be loved well, okay? I deserve to be loved well. Now, I'd say definitely in my early 30s, well, by 33, I would suppose, this was like very much solidified. Before that, I was like, what am I doing? I'm still trying to figure it out. But the book Calling in the One helped me get to that. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Oh, definitely sure. Like, I was mostly sure. I think I deserve to be loved well. Mostly sure. But now I'm sure. I definitely still get, you know, every once in a while, the creeping thought, I don't know what this man doing with me. I know I'm great. But why this man love me so? Why he love me so much? I get that thought sometimes, but it is so infrequent at this point that I can actually sit in and be loved well. Like, receive it. You know, you have to put yourself out there to even date and get to know somebody and be vulnerable and connect in that way, right? So there was a period of time, I don't think I've documented this on my channel. Maybe I've just mentioned it offhandedly, but I've been thinking about doing a separate video on the period of time when I was just like, blank all of y'all. Me want nothing to do with none of y'all. I'm just living my best life. My life is great. I just need a break from y'all. But I think it's still important, if you desire partnership, that you take a break, but then you put yourself back out there to accept the love of your life, which is what I did, which is what I talk about on my channel so frequently. You can have whatever you want. I really wanted partnership, and I have partnership. And I have a separate video coming out about some of the difficulties in that process, because just because you get to the relationship doesn't mean the work ends, or that now that the relationship will just magically work itself out. Like, it still requires like effort and continued conversations and vulnerability, all the things. But I'm well loved. Number 6 is money flows to me easily. I have a few money videos on my channel. I have another one coming out at the end of the year. I haven't recorded it, but I will record another video to update on where I'm at. When I got my first real psychologist job, right, my pay like doubled, tripled, something like that. And I was scared, okay? I was scared. As a person who has been a student for most of their life and did not work full time while I was in school, I just didn't have a lot of money. I can't really say I was afraid, right? Like, I was never like facing eviction, or I don't know, didn't have anything to eat. Like, we still had food and all that stuff, but I was just worried about like, what am I gonna do with all this money? Am I just gonna waste it, squander it? Like, I need some education. And I had already taken some financial literacy workshops where you learn about like money habitudes, like your feelings and attitudes about money. And it was very, very extremely helpful, right? It helped me strengthen my savings muscle, which I hadn't had before. And so by the time I start making this money, I hire a financial advisor, and she was just extremely helpful in framing my budget and, you know, what's coming in, what's going out, giving me a spreadsheet. Like, it was a really, really great experience. That combined with, you know, doing the money mantras and learning more about like how money works in the economy has just made it super easy. Is this super easy? Has made it super easy to run my business, to know if I want to make more money, like what tweaks I need to do. There's still like real world things to work out, like marketing and how you're phrasing things and how do you keep clients. That's not really a difficulty for me. Most of my clients stay 18 months. I have a few clients that I've had longer than 2 years, but my goal is not to keep people indefinitely. My goal is very much to have people see results and then say bye, I don't have to see you anymore, or checkups every now and then. But the money part is, I don't know, I just have to say some affirmations, listen to some affirmations, make some changes, talk to God, meditate, and the money will come. It's so doable. I feel like, there was a click that happened like the year after I started my practice where I was like, oh, shoot, this is oh my gosh, how amazing. I love this for me. So money is not really an issue for me. There's some things I'll talk about in my money video, getting into some details about how it's going, because life is about growing and wanting more and doing things. And so there's still some goals I haven't reached that I would like. But overall, I feel like I have understood, how do I get money to flow to me? I get it. And last but not least, number 7, everything is spiritual, including health. Everything is spiritual. And I love that book by Wayne Dyer about there's a spiritual solution to every problem. Because I'm an old soul and I grew up religious, and so I've just had God-centered life. I don't know, my mother is very Christian. So much has been about God. I feel like I've always known everything is spiritual. But as I have, mastered psychology and understand humans better, it just makes even more sense. I think I have even more examples about how your heart disease, how your stroke, how your obesity, how your anxiety, how your autoimmune disorder is all spiritual. Like, you can solve all of those things spiritually. And I promise you, I'm not a woo-woo-woo, but we have metaphysics for a reason, quantum physics for a reason. People do research on the cells of the body. And if you say good things to yourself, if you say good things to cells, if you say good things to plants, like, they grow better, like they are healthier. And so I've been looking a lot at how the spiritual lack, like the disconnection from God that causes so many pain points in other people, it just becomes so obvious to me that you can be super healthy, you can say you eat the right food, you can be normal size, but if you are not good with God, like, you could die at any time. Like, I don't know, I heard Michael Beckwith say, when he wasn't living what God put him on earth to do, God was saying, well, I don't think you need to be on earth anymore if you're not going to do what you're supposed to be doing. And some of those things add to my understanding about how there's a spiritual solution to every problem. Because if we're spiritual beings, I fully believe we are spiritual beings, then any separation, any perceived distance from God will have a negative impact on your life. Like, we are supposed to be in community with God. We are supposed to have a reverence for ourselves. And God can be whatever, there's lots of labels for God, but God is love. And so if you are moving in the action of love for self, love for others, love for the world, you're going to be so great. Like, all around, you're going to be so great. Your relationships are going to be healthy. Your body's going to be healthy. You are going to feel good about yourself. If not, and I just really think God is the root of these things. And so that's a truth that I've been living for most of my life. I would say even most of my childhood, that some of this stuff don't make no sense. But I get it now. And I think the sooner people understand that life is more than the physical things. The physical things are nice. I do think us as humans being here, we're supposed to enjoy like what's around. Like, I have plants. I don't need plants, but plants make me feel good. They make me smile. I feel really happy looking at them. I'm supposed to enjoy the wonderful things about life. And for somebody else, it might be, a beautiful house or a particular car or something like that. There's lots of different ways to live this life. But at the end of the day, whatever you want. So I do hope that you've been inspired by this video, and that maybe one of these areas you haven't really considered in your life, and you say, you know what? I can do whatever I want. I can tell people no. I need to figure out a spiritual solution to this problem, or whatever it is, that you can dive a little bit deeper into living your best life and becoming your best self. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions, give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I'm here to spread love, and you subscribing helps me do that. And thank you for watching.